I'm Claudia. Welcome back to It's So Worth It, So Make It. This is Crafting 101. That's right, today I am not in the kitchen, I am in the craft studio, and I want to show you how to make patches, and in particular, this awesome Pokeball patch. So let me show you what you're going to need for this project. For this project, you're going to need some kind of fabric. Now, I chose to use felt because I like felt. It's easy to work with and has a really nice stiffness to it that's going to hold up. Now, it would be better if you thought ahead to figure out what you want to do with your patch. If you want to actually patch a hole in clothing, or you need something that's going to be sturdy and stand up to washing and drying, please don't use felt, because felt will not stand up in the dryer. I mean, unless you have Ariete living in your floorboards or something, this stuff is going to shrink down to her size. So if you want a more permanent patch, use a cotton or a cotton blend, something that's going to stand up to all the washing and drying. But for my purposes, I just needed temporary patches, so I chose felt. So what you're going to need is red felt, white felt, and you're going to need a piece of, this is called heat and bond. It's a special kind of fabric adhesive that when ironed onto one piece of fabric, you can iron it on, peel off the paper, put the other piece of fabric on, iron those things together, and the two things will stick. And I'll show you how that works in just a minute. So you will need some heat and bond iron-on fabric adhesive. And then the next thing you're going to need is a piece of canvas or some other kind of fabric that you can use as the backing, because what you're going to do with your red and your white felt pieces is you're going to trace circles on these that are the same size, and then you're going to cut these in half. And then what you're going to do is you're going to use those halves to make up your Pokeball. So we have the felt, we have the heat and bond paper, we have the canvas. A couple more things that you're going to need to cut out is a small circle of black felt for the button on the Pokeball. That's this part right here. You're going to need that. And then you're going to need a strip of black felt to act as the stripe that's in the middle. Then, for the very last thing, and this is going to be up to you to figure out what you want to do, is what do you want to put as the central button? That's going to be totally up to you. You can use a white button. You can cut another piece of white felt out that's slightly smaller. This one, I had a nice big jewel, so I put that on there because I love bling. But on the project I'm going to show you today, I happen to have these tiny little mirrors hanging around in my craft stuff, so I picked one of these. So that's what I'm going to use for that. So now I'll show you the procedure. This is how we're going to make it. All right, now that we have all of our materials assembled and everything's cut out to the proper size, we're going to start with the ironing. So set your iron to medium heat, no steam. No steam is really important here. We do not want any steam on that. Then take your piece of canvas or your backing fabric that you have and set your circle of heat and bond on top of it, paper side up. That's really important. Then we're just going to press down for 2 seconds on each side to adhere that to our canvas. And then it just takes a couple of seconds to cool and you can peel the paper off. So we're just going to peel the paper off. And we are left with the shiny side up on our base. Okay, the next thing we want to do is take our half circle of the red that we've cut out and place it on the top of our Pokeball. Then we take the other white half, and put that down next. And then we're going to go ahead and iron that for a couple of seconds on each side, and we just want to iron it enough to get it stuck, because we actually need to flip this over now and iron it from the back side. And we want to iron it for 10 seconds per spot to make sure that everything is nicely stuck together. Okay, good, awesome, this looks great. The next thing that we want to do is prepare our black stripe, and we've cut out another piece of heat and bond for this, and we're going to lay it on top, and you want to get it that closely, as close as possible matches the size of your strip. And it's the same procedure. You just set it down there, 2 seconds, it's adhered, 2 seconds, it's adhered there. No problem. Pretty easy. Then we're going to peel this off. Peel our paper off. Maybe. It can be tricky sometimes. And then we're going to go ahead and line it up on the middle part of our patch. And don't worry if it's longer than your Pokeball, because we're going to go ahead and trim that later so everything is uniform. And again, some ironing. And so far, nothing is complicated. We've been doing great on this. Really easy. All right. Now, here's where the optional glue gun comes in. You can use hot glue to get your middle button on there, or you can also cut another piece of your heat and bond and iron it on. That's totally up to you, however you want to do it. So we'll go ahead and do that. Little hot glue. And while I'm putting that on, I just want to mention that you want to choose a fabric, not only if you want it to be permanent, make sure that it's something that can stand up to a medium heat iron. Some fabrics will not stand up to that. Anything that has a decoration on it, like sequins, you don't want to use because they won't be able to be ironed. So that's the only caveat with these projects. Has to be able to be ironed. Okay, now we've got that stuck on there, and we'll go ahead and get our mirror placed. A little bit more hot glue, and just put it in the middle-ish. And hold it down for just a couple seconds, and it's done. And look at that. We have made a Pokeball patch. Now, what's left to do? The only thing that's left to do at this point is trim it. So this just takes a minute, and you're just going to go around the edge and just trim it. Trim anything that's extra off, or anything that's showing that you don't want to show. Sometimes the backing is, peeking out or something, then you just trim that off. And it only takes, a few seconds to do this. And voila, you are complete. You've just made your Pokeball patch. Now, if you want to attach this in a temporary manner, that's really easy to do. You can get some fabric tape. And yes, on the package of fabric tape, it says that these are permanent. But I'm here to tell you from firsthand experience that that is a lie, because I have used this on my fabrics and things before, on clothing, and they fall right off. So it's not going to be an option if you want to attach this to your garments permanently. Now, I wanted things that I could attach for a few hours at a time so that they would not fall off. And we will see if that will hold true when I make my cooking videos, if any of my patches fall into the food. All right, so the easiest way to go about doing that is just take your fabric tape and you cut some like this, and then you'll just tape it onto the back of your patch, whatever kind of patch that you wanted to make, and then you just peel off the paper. And then you can do that a couple of times, and you just stick it on whatever garment it is that you want to wear it on. Now, if you wanted to make this a more permanent patch, then some sewing would be required. And you could just take this and sew it right onto whatever it is that you wanted to sew it onto. Again, for a more permanent patch, please use a fabric like a cotton or a cotton blend that can take the washing and the drying, and you won't have any problems with your patch. And you can do any kind of pattern that you want. As you can see here, I've done a whole bunch of patches, my original Pokeball patch, and anything really, whatever is in your imagination, that's as far as it's going to take you. So do whatever it is that you like, and you're going to have a lot of fun making a whole bunch of patches. So it's so worth it. So make it. This is the Pokeball patch. I hope you have fun with this project. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time. Bye.